Good evening. You're watching the Chucktown Wind Report brought to you by Wind Alert. It is 8:45 p.m. on Tuesday, March the 8th. Let's go ahead and talk about winds and weather for the next few days and even into this weekend. Right now, looking at the surface map, we have a couple of features. Neither one of these are really going anywhere. This is a blocking high in the Atlantic that we talked about the other day. That's going to keep the southerly flow going for several more days. And we've been pretty dry and very spring-like weather, so beautiful weather for the last 2 days. We could start to see a few isolated showers work their way in tomorrow afternoon, and just a little bit more of a chance each day as the air temperatures do stay warm. The moisture profile looks to increase just a little bit. We have this big area of low pressure coming together over northern Mexico, and what this is doing, this high pressure, is keeping it checked to the west and creating a rain and storm corridor all through this area. So all this moisture feed is going to be coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico. We call this the Mayan Express when it comes up from this area. So these folks here are going to be getting it pretty hard for the next day or two. As time goes on, this moisture is going to start pushing its way east. This high pressure is going to weaken off of our coastline, and another area of high pressure is going to dive down from the north to reinforce it. So by the time we get back into Sunday, we have another high pressure that's going to be very similar to this one parking off of our coastline at least through the early to middle part of next week. So what we're expecting overall is a southerly flow to continue along our coastline with some mild sea breezing each day. Today we did see some mid to upper teens gusts just inside the harbor mouth and uprivers. That's just downwind of where some of the warmer land mass is allowing that surface mix. Our waters are cool, but the temperatures are starting to come up. So we were at 55 degrees 3 days ago. Now we're at 58 degrees. So as long as the air temperatures are staying higher or going higher and higher each day or staying in the warm zone, then these water temperatures are going to continue to come up. I'm expecting to see low 60s by this weekend, maybe Sunday or Monday at the latest. So that's going to be pretty much the telltale for the next few days is high pressure in control, southerly winds, some mild sea breezing along the coast, maybe a few moderate pulses just inside the harbor mouth and inland or the uprivers to inland. And then the moisture profile increases just a tad every single day as we go on. Looking at GRE on radar, we're looking pretty dry right now. A few upper level clouds making their way over. Here's all that activity over Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana. This whole area is that corridor of rain and storms from that area of low pressure that's developing over Mexico right now. Let's take a look over the Charleston area. We have 9 to 11 knots in the harbor, 7 to 8 knots on Sullivan's Island, 6 to 7 Isle of Palms, and 8 to 9 knots on Folly Beach, all southerly flow. If we look at our forecast, here's what we have for the model runs. Each day is going to vary in sea breeze circulations and what it's going to be able to put out as far as winds go. I do expect to see just inside the harbor mouth and uprivers to inland to see the higher flow each day as the air temperature is going to stay a little bit on the warm side inland. They do stay on the cool side along the beaches along that where that cooler shelf water brings that southerly flow in. But you can see each day the models are all running very, very low, and this was today. You can see the numbers came up significantly higher than the models in the harbor. We got about 15 to 16 knot gusts around 2 to 2:30 p.m. or just before 2 to 2:30. And so we should be expecting that again tomorrow, maybe even the next day, where the beaches are going to probably remain somewhere between 8 and 12 knots each day. And let's go ahead and take a look at the GFS. Looks like Thursday we do have a shot at some of the winds coming up a little bit higher as we get some of that inland troughing increasing. We don't have a lot of westerly flow up high for return flow for sea breeze. Stronger circulations, but we definitely have a few shots at getting some higher winds inside the harbor and upper rivers. And as we get into Sunday, we see another pulse here, and these numbers could all change several days out, so nothing's for certain. But I do think that we might have a chance to see Saturday and Sunday with the moisture profile building in from the west. We could see some of the inland troughing help with the sea breeze circulations to increase some of those winds as long as the air temperatures don't come up too high. Here's the air temperature forecast for this week. We're looking at upper 70s to near 80 inland, and that's going to, between the water temperature being 68 and the air temperature being near 80, that creates that marine layer just along the coast. It may not even be visible, it may be very shallow, but if the air temperatures do tend to get up, if they do get into the low to mid 80s by chance, we could see fog banks be created along the coastline, and it might be actual visible curtains of fog, especially at nighttime and into the late afternoon hours. So here's our numerical run for the GFS, and here's the high pressure off the coastline. You can see as we go into time for Thursday that high backs away, and then by Friday it's still sitting there sort of wobbling back and forth into Saturday. Then it sort of fizzles out, it sort of weakens, and then we get another area of high pressure dropping down from the north that's going to replace that one and sort of reinforce what's going on along the coastline. So all that moisture moving in from the west will get broken up by some additional dry air from that high pressure moving in off our coastline. Then as we get into Monday and Tuesday next week, the high builds a little bit back in, sort of fades in and out of the coast, not as strong as the one that we're seeing right now. But then again, things could change between now and then. So we're looking at almost a week away. That's 6 days out. So nothing's for certain there. But we do know that the moisture profile slowly increases each day, and the southerly flow is going to depend on the sea breeze circulation. So that will do it for the Chucktown wind report. And I will get back on in a couple of days and take a look at what's going on for the weekend. We'll have a better idea of what's going to happen for Saturday and Sunday. Until then, take care and thanks for watching.